Welcome to The Explainer. So imagine doing every single thing you normally do. Eating, sleeping, literally just trying to exist, but you are physically shackled to a complete stranger for an entire month. No way, right? Well, that is the brutal premise of MrBeast's Wild 30-Day Chained to a Stranger challenge. It's this high-stakes social experiment, just packed with shifting alliances, intense mind games, and some truly wild environmental twists.
Okay, let's dive into this. The main contestant, Allison, is offered a massive, life-changing payout, $250,000. But to get her hands on it, she's got to endure those 30 days chained to a stranger. And get this, even if she manages to make it to the very end without tapping out, there's still one final, devastating catch hanging over her head that could leave her walking away with absolutely nothing. Think about it. Could you do it? Zero personal space, absolutely no privacy, just trying to navigate someone else's moods in a tiny little room. But Allison didn't just have to survive the physical discomfort of it all. Oh no, she had to survive an entire minefield of constraints, totally engineered by production, just to push her to her breaking point. The rules here? They are incredibly strict, designed for maximum paranoia. Rule 1, absolutely no taking off the handcuffs, ever. Rule 2, they cannot step outside a painted red line surrounding their tiny house. But here's the real psychological heist. Allison isn't just chained to one person. Nope. Every 5 days, she's shackled to a completely new stranger. And the ultimate twist, the big one, at the end of the 30 days, she has to pick the one stranger she trusts the most. And that chosen person will secretly decide whether to split the 250 grand with her or totally backstab her and steal the entire prize pool for themselves.
Let's move to and see how this builds. This is the gauntlet she has to run. Allison starts out with a biker named Bryce. Then, on day 5, a cheerleader named Skylar arrives. By day 10, she's with a selfless father named Juan. Day 15 brings in Jason the cowboy. And finally, on day 20, she meets Bree, who's a fierce professional basketball player. Every single 5 days, Allison has to instantly judge a book by its cover. She has to pick her new partner from a completely random lineup, based on literally nothing but their looks.
Section 1. 5 strangers, 5 days. Let's see how this all starts.
Man, the paranoia sets in immediately. During these first few days, Allison is hyper aware that literally anyone she's chained to might just be buttering her up so they can steal her money later. I mean, she even starts throwing objects at them just to test their reactions. It's wild. Her second stranger, Skylar the cheerleader, she tries really hard to build a genuine friendship. They're doing spa days, bonding over mint chocolate chip ice cream, the whole shebang. Skylar's acting like she is totally locked in to split the money. But then, in this moment of sheer excitement, Skylar makes a hilariously disastrous slip of the tongue. She literally yells out, "One step closer to 250K. Not splitting it, the whole 250K. Allison's radar instantly goes off. Skylar tries to play it cool, but the damage is done. That seed of doubt, firmly planted.
Section 2. The Beast Multiverse Twists. Because surviving a tiny house wasn't crazy enough. So if you thought living in a tiny house was tough, wait for day 10. Production completely shatters reality. In this massive twist, Allison gets dragged into an entirely different MrBeast video. Yeah, they literally take her to a sealed grocery store where 4 guys are already competing to eat everything in the store for $1 million. Allison is forced to pick one of these guys to be chained to for her next 5 days, and she chooses a quiet guy named Juan. Suddenly, boom, she's having to adapt to this chaotic new environment, trying to help these guys chug cauliflower juice in the morning, all while dragging this heavy chain around to supermarket aisles.
And this brilliantly illustrates how the game forces Allison to navigate some really wild personality contrasts. Like, on one hand, you have Juan. He's a heavy equipment operator with 6 kids, and he actually reveals his father was recently diagnosed with dementia. He tells Allison straight up he would never steal, he just wants to give back to his family. Heartwarming, right? Well, contrast that with Bree, who Allison meets on day 20. Bree is a pro basketball player. She's highly athletic, incredibly confident, and honestly, she admits straight to the camera that she is a fierce competitor who is already strategizing on how to secure the full 250 grand entirely for herself. Okay, actually, scratch that. Before we even get to Bree, we have to talk about what happened on day 15 with Jason the cowboy. You literally won't believe this. MrBeast blindfolds Allison and Jason, stands them outside their tiny house, and drops a massive, crashed airplane right on top of it. I mean, he completely destroys their house with a plane. So for 5 days, Allison and Jason are forced to live, sleep, and even ride an exercise bike inside this destroyed fuselage that's sitting on this massive,
totally uncomfortable slope. It is just peak YouTube absurdity, pushing their physical endurance to the absolute limit.
Section 3. The trust test. This is where the psychological warfare really peaks. As the days tick down to the wire, the physical challenges kind of take a backseat to sheer psychological warfare. Everyone wants to be picked as that final stranger, right? Because they want access to that split or steal button. So Bree, realizing that Allison is pretty hesitant to trust her, pulls out the ultimate psychological trump card. She literally points to a tattoo on her own body that says the word promise. Bree looks Allison dead in the eye and leverages this permanent ink, claiming it stands for her absolute commitment to never break a promise. She promises 1,000% she will not steal the money. It's an incredibly aggressive campaign for her trust. But behind the scenes, Bree is executing absolute manipulation, freely admitting to the cameras she might just have to get that tattoo removed if it wins her the game. Cold, right? Section 4. The final elimination. Day 25. The climax.
Then, on day 25, the game ends early. A limo pulls up, and boom, all 5 strangers, Bryce, Skylar, Juan, Jason, and Bree, step out onto the tarmac. Allison is handed bolt cutters. She has to eliminate them one by one. MrBeast then reveals that all 5 strangers have already locked in their secret decision: split or steal. The catch here? The payout cascades. The first person she cuts the chain for gets 10 grand, the second gets 20, the third 30, and the fourth $40,000. So the crucial point is, Allison's elimination order strategically rewards the people she trusts the most with higher consolation cash, all while saving the one person she trusts completely to split the main $250,000 prize at the very end. So Allison starts off by eliminating the person she trusts the absolute least, Jason the cowboy. She cuts his chain, giving him the lowest payout of $10,000. And then comes a dramatic shock. MrBeast reveals Jason's locked-in choice. Jason had chosen to steal. No way, right? If Allison had picked him to go to the end, he would have taken the entire $250,000 for himself, leaving her with absolutely nothing. Allison's gut instinct? It was completely 100% spot on.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is Allison's brilliant deduction here. Next, she sets her sights on Bree. Yep, despite the bonding and that massive, intense speech about the promise tattoo, Allison cuts Bree's chain second, sending her home with $20,000. She literally calls her out right there, saying she thinks Bree was going to steal. And MrBeast reveals Bree absolutely chose to steal. Bree drops the act immediately, just smiling and casually admitting that, hey, sometimes you just have to break a promise to win the game. Allison completely caught her in a massive lie. Think about it. Allison navigated a 30-day psychological minefield. She endured extreme physical twists, literal dropped airplanes, and some pretty masterful manipulators. But her incredible read on human nature allowed her to eliminate the exact 2 people who were actively plotting to steal her money. That paved the way for her to safely split the grand prize with the remaining, genuinely trustworthy strangers. It really leaves you wondering, though, if you were utterly exhausted, physically chained to a stranger, and staring down $250,000, would your instincts have been as sharp as Allison's? Could you spot the deceivers in a 30-day psychological heist? Thanks so much for joining us for this explainer, and we'll catch you on the next deep dive.